Hi, Becky here for another reading vlog. So today is the first day of the Buzzword readathon, and it is Monday, November 18th, and we go until the 24th, so Sunday night. And my husband and I have been listening to and reading 1984 since last Wednesday. So almost a week now into that, and we'll probably be reading that until the end of the month, just because it takes a long time for two of us to be able to sit together and listen or read to the same story. But I started listening to One for the Money, which they're like under 3 hours. So I should be able to, theoretically, I'd be able to listen to like a book a day with that one, but I haven't had as much time to listen today as I was hoping. But it's only like not even 8 o'clock yet. But I'm just eating some supper and reading Two Kinds of Truth by Michael Connelly. I'm already 105 pages in, and I was hoping to get to at least 150 pages tonight. I have a pretty long list for this TBR of books I want to get to, which even after the readathon, I'll keep reading, but I want to see how many I can get to in a week, even though normally I would only read one. But yeah, I just want to do a quick update since I'm vlogging, but not very good at vlogging my days, but maybe I'll do a little bit more tomorrow. So, day one. Going good so far. Hello, so it's day 3 of the Buzzwordathon. Things are going pretty well. I just dropped the kids off at school and got some gas, and now I'm just sitting down to read a little bit of my Bible. I'm in 1 Samuel, so that counts for the Buzzwordathon, right? Yeah, doing that. I'm gonna be finishing Two Kinds of Truth by Michael Connelly today, and I think I'm gonna start The Woman in Cabin number 10. And I'm just reading or listening to, listened to books 1 and 2 of the Janet Evanach books that are like 1 for the money, 2 for the dough, and I'm on book 3 now, so I'll finish that today. And then Hoopla and Overdrive don't have book 4 or anything like that. They have books like 26 and 27 and things like that, but for some reason they have the first 3 and then not number 4, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do after that. I might look and see if they have some of the books that I plan on physically reading on audiobooks, so I can kind of go back and forth depending on what I'm doing. But yeah, that's just my update for now, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. So just here for another quick update for Buzzwordathon Day 3. I finished reading Two Kinds of Truth. It took me a little bit longer to read than I was planning on, just being distracted by my son and stuff like that. But I finished that this morning, and then, or just afternoon. And now I've picked up The Woman in Cabin 10. I am on page 36, so I'm not as far into it as I was hoping I would be, but it's just after 6 p.m. now, so I'm hoping to read a little bit more of that. And maybe get 100 pages in today at least. And yeah, I finished listening to the third 3 to Get Dead or something like that. The third Stephanie Plum bounty hunter novel that I was listening to, which was good. They're like under 3 hours for audiobooks, which is really nice. It goes by really fast, especially when I'm listening to it at like 1.6 times the speed. And my kids are like, why is it so fast? This book is really, really fast. And my husband's like, how do you even understand that? But you get used to it as you slowly increase the speed. My son just came and gave me his big giant dog that's like bigger than I am. His name is Popcorn. So I'm just cuddling and gonna read a little bit of The Woman in Cabin 10. So I'll see you at the next update. Christmas.
Mommy, look at the reindeers. Yeah, 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 yeah.
You gonna start bodybuilding for beginners, Riley? That's what he grabbed. From Joe.
Still day 5 of the Buzzword readathon. I'm still not done The Woman in Cabin number 10. It is like 6:30 p.m. and I was hoping to have this done by noon today. So that's how my day's going. And I'm a very slow reader, but I'm on page 298 out of 340 pages. 40 pages. So almost done, almost there. And my husband and middle daughter went out to a father-daughter dance, but my oldest daughter here didn't want to go, so she's sitting here reading a book with me while my son fell asleep early. So that should be fun. He'll be up till like midnight now, but what are you reading, Soph?
I'm reading Seeing Red. And
Classic Robert Munch.
I'm on chapter 20 and 21.
Yeah, pages 20 and 21. So, that's our reading update.
Right now, he's eating 10 long pieces of licorice.
Ew, black licorice. Gross. Look at the dog. The dog's gonna bite some.
Yeah.
So,
she's like, hi. That's what Mabel would do. That's what Mabel would do if I came from school and was carrying a whole one of like 10 long pieces of black, like not black, but like red black pieces of licorice. I bet Mabel would be following me and we had to change.
Yeah. So that's our reading update.
Okay. So we're watching this movie. Oh, imagine I just.
Hi, day 7 update here of the readathon. I'm very slowly making my way through 13. I was hoping to get to page 200 right away here. I'm on page 192. So close. There's 300 and something. 356 pages. So I want to finish it tonight, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. I've had a really hard time reading and just being able to concentrate on the book. It's taking like all of my mental energy to focus on what I'm reading. The book is good and it's well written and stuff. It's not the book's fault. It's just that I'm a mommy booktuber with 3... Sorry, I'm distracted by like this blue glow going on with my hair. With 3 kids. My son has been grounded for days now from video games. He's been really disrespectful to me. He's been not listening to his teacher. He's definitely my most difficult child to control. Well, control sounds bad, but like he doesn't listen. He runs away. He runs out into parking lots all the time. And I have no idea how to get him to listen and come back when he's called. It's like training a dog to do a recall, really. And I have no idea how to train a 4-year-old how to do it. And then, so that's just been really stressful this week. And now he's in timeout because he bit his sister. And you would think that at a certain age they would outgrow the biting. But, like, our oldest will be 8 in less than 2 months. And she'll still bite her siblings. And then our middle is 6 years old and she still bites. And our 4-year-old still bites. So they haven't outgrown it yet. That's my son slamming the door. Because he's mad because now he's been grounded from video games since like Friday or Thursday or something. I don't remember. But now he's grounded to his bedroom, so I'm dealing with that. And then my other two, my daughters are playing like some math seeds thing online, and there's like, it's not too bad, but there is some talking telling them like what to do, and then like songs and stuff like that. So that's distracting, and then the banging of the doors, very distracting. And then I just had a fight with my son in the bedroom, and I hit my funny bone, which, fun fact, is actually a nerve. When you hit it, you're hitting a nerve, and that's why it like tingles and hurts. And we call it the funny bone. So I hate fighting, especially physically with the kids, which I know sounds bad, but the main advice I get is basically to spank my children. But what do you do if spanking doesn't help, or if it's not the right answer for your family? Then what do you do? I don't know. No one ever gives that answer. But anyways, day 7, so it's almost over. It's just after 4, like 4:20 or something like that. So we go to church tonight. Church starts at 6:30. So I was hoping to get a little bit more reading done. Maybe past 200 before then, but it takes forever to read. Even like these next 8 pages will be exhausting to read. We're nowhere near finished reading 1984. That's been a really hard, and I knew it would be hard, but it's been really hard to get that time with my husband. We've got the audio, which has allowed us to listen to a little bit more, but actually sitting down and reading it at all hasn't been working. My kids stay awake later than I do. Me and my husband are exhausted at the end of the night. He gets home by like 8:30 at the latest, and then the kids are still up. And I have no idea how to get them into bed at an earlier time without waking them up at like 4:35 in the morning, which is just something I can't do. Anyways, that's my reading life update. I'll update again probably maybe tonight, but at least tomorrow with what I was able to read and do a little bit of a wrap up. Talk to you later. Hi, so it's Monday the 25th, so the readathon, the Buzzwordathon ended yesterday, and at 11:55 p.m. last night I was at page 311 out of 357, and actually I think it was like 11:52, and I was like, there's no way I can read the next 30 pages or so, and I think my son is naked. Yeah, I just got out of the bathroom and I didn't even see him, and he's naked. Anyways, so I was like, there's no way I'm going to read the next 30 pages or whatever I had left in 8 minutes time. So I finished it this morning. I wasn't able to finish it before the kids went to school, but I finished it by about 10:30 a.m. So I was able to finish it just after the readathon, so that's okay. And then I was not able to get to the 7 Days of Us, but I'm going to start it probably today. And on my phone, I'm also reading the book, They Called Me Number One, which is another story about the residential schools, to go along with the 7 Fallen Feathers that I had been reading prior to the readathon. So anyways, I just wanted to do this quick update, and I'm going to do a little wrap up later on when my husband's around and can help me with setting up the filming and stuff like that. So anyways, I'm going to go find out why my son is naked on the couch watching TV. Bye. Hello, so I'm here for my wrap up, and I'm just trying a new camera here, so I'm not sure. I don't have like a viewfinder to see how it looks, but we'll see. I'm sitting in front of my bookshelf that I've been working on the past couple of days. I just set up these lights, my unicorn light. Just made this on Tuesday at Mops, so it's got a fake candle in it because I put this too high over, so I don't want to catch on fire. Plus kids and safety and stuff like that, but this is glass, so we'll see how that goes anyways. My candle's like dying. But yeah, I'm constantly changing over my bookshelves, so this is my latest. And I'm not even quite done with it yet. There's a few things I have to go through with my husband to see about what he wants to do with them and stuff, what we should do. So, anyways, I hope I'm in screen. So this is my wrap up for the Buzzwordathon. It ended 4 days ago now, so I'm a little bit behind. But for the first 3 days, I read the Janet Ivanovich, the Stephanie Plum novels. I listened to those because they were only a couple hours long each, like under 3 hours, and then I listened to them at a higher speed than one times, so it went pretty quick. And so I listened to 1 for the money, 2 for the dough, and 3 to get deadly, and then they didn't have any more available to listen to on Overdrive, and I couldn't find them on the other devices that I listened to them on. So, but the first book I read was the Michael Connelly Two Kinds of Truth. The problem with this is that I've been watching the Bosch show on Amazon, and this is a Bosch novel. So I've all caught up like season 5 or whatever, and then this is what this book was about, was what season 5 was. So I was kind of like, oh, I kind of already know what's going to happen, but they changed enough things, and the way the show is structured is a little bit different, because this has expanded a couple of, like, the Bosch novels have expanded a couple of decades, where the show is still new. So, like, in the Bosch novels, he's a retired cop, but in the show, he's still currently working. His partner that he works with a little bit in this is retired, but in the show, he's his current partner. Things like that. So so those things were different. And then, like, how he got into a few of the situations he was in was different. So that was good. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen. And so I enjoyed it. I gave it a 4-star. It took me a couple days to read it. He's, like I said, he's retired, so he's working on cold cases for this. And there's a case he did 30 years ago that they found, like, new evidence saying that the guy that Bosch put away could go free. So he's trying to, like, rework that case to a degree, even though, like, he's not on that case. He's not allowed to work it because, like, another department's working it and stuff like that. He's kind of doing his own detective work behind the scenes because he believes we got the right guy and you're tarnishing my name. And if this guy goes free, all the other people that I've put in jail over the last 3 decades, 29 years this guy's been in jail, then all of that gets questioned. So there's that, and then there's an active double homicide case that he's working on, that he gets called in on for just kind of like his expert opinion kind of thing, because like I said, he's retired, but he's had over 30 years in the force. So they just wanted his opinion. So I read that, and it was good. And then I picked up The Woman in Cabin 10. So this is my first Ruth Ware novel. And I really enjoyed it. It went by fairly quickly. Again, I think I took like 3 days to read each book. Basically, 2.5 days. This one, I'm trying to think of like what it's about without giving anything away. But this girl, she's a journalist for a travel magazine, and her boss was supposed to go on this trip on this new luxury yacht, kind of like a cruise, but the boat's more the size of a very large yacht, and her boss can't go on the trip, so she sends this girl who we're following in the story, and she believes that she witnesses or hears a murder, but of course, like, she'd been drinking the night before, and there's questions about, like, her validity in the story that she's telling and stuff. So it's her trying to figure out, like, hey, who is this woman in cabin 10? Did she die? Did I witness a murder? So A lot of the Ruth Ware books is like with a turning plot worthy of Agatha Christie. Ruth Ware twists the wire on readers' nerves once again. Cabin 10 just may do to cruise vacations what Jaws did to ocean swimming. You'll be afraid to go out on the water. The Star Tribune said that. So a lot of people say that she's like a modern Agatha Christie, so if you like those kind of books. I enjoyed it. And then the one that I was really excited about was 13, because of the tagline for it is, the serial killer isn't on trial, he's on the jury. So I was looking into this before picking it up for the readathon. I saw another booktuber mention it, and I was like, that sounds amazing. So Steve Kavanaugh has written 3 other books prior to this that has the main lawyer in this. The lawyer that we're following in this, he's in The Defense, The Plea, and The Liar, and also The Cross, which is a novella. So I was looking into maybe reading those prior to the Buzzwordathon, but my library only had 13, and it's one of those books, kind of like the Harry Bosch novels that Michael Connolly writes. It's a book that you don't necessarily need to read the other ones leading up to it. You get little tidbits of the background information that it's just enough that you need to know for this story. Anyways, this was really good, but I could not finish it by Sunday night before midnight of the readathon, and I was mentioning in another clip, it was like 11:52, and I was like, I still have 30 pages left, I can't do it in 8 minutes, and I was too tired, so I just stopped and went to bed, and then in that last 30 pages, everything happened. So it's one of those, it's kind of interesting because you're following the character, the serial killer's point of view and the lawyer's point of view. So I was kind of like, oh, well, you already know, you're not trying to guess who the serial killer is necessarily. You're like, okay, you figured out how we got on the jury and stuff. So for a little bit I was like, that's kind of disappointing, but it's really interesting, and his point of view is really like some of the stuff he does to make him to be able to get onto the jury and stuff. It's like cringeworthy, and so it was kind of cool to get his side of it. And then at the last 50 to 30 pages, you find out there's a few twists and turns and a few plot twists that are really interesting and do make it just because you were following the case of, or the perspective of the serial killer, you didn't get necessarily all the answers. So you got it in the last few pages, which were really, really good. And I gave them all 4 stars. But I finished it Monday morning, just after noon. So I finished that just the day after, a few hours past the readathon, but that's okay. I read 3 books, which I'm pretty proud of, in a week. Normally I read about 1 book in a week. And then I listened to those 3 books, like I said, which were, all 3 of them combined were shorter than a normal book that I would listen to. My husband and I are on week 2.5 of reading and listening to 1984. I think we sat and read it twice, but we've been mostly listening to it. It actually expires in 2 hours, I found out. So, listening to it on overdrive. But, he's on his days off again. He started yesterday. So, hopefully we can spend a little bit more time reading. It's my birthday this week, so we're a little bit busy. And then I read and I posted my vlog for 7 Fallen Feathers, which was a story about racism in Canada dealing with the Indigenous people in Thunder Bay. So now, to go along with that, plus the readathon with the numbers and stuff, I'm reading They Called Me Number 1, which I wanted the physical copy from the library, but it was taking a long time for it to come in. So I got it on Hoopla, which does not download to my Kobo, unfortunately, so I'm reading it on my phone. So it's only 200, it says it's 256 pages, and then each page is, on my phone, it works out to 1,056 pages, and I'm on 423, but, that's 1 page, so that's why it works out to, 4 times the amount. So I'm 40% of the way through, and this one's specifically about a girl in British Columbia who went to a residential school, and her mom went to a residential school, and her grandma, and so on, and I think it ended with her, like her kids didn't go, but so that it's interesting, like Seven Fallen Feathers. It's a really hard thing to read, but it's interesting and enlightening. It's taking me longer than I thought to read it, being so short, but now I also picked up 7 Days of Us, which is I got also for the readathon. I just didn't manage to get to it, so I wanted to read it before my birthday on Saturday. Today's Thursday, so we'll see how that goes. And that's a Christmas book, and one of the oldest daughter was working with infectious diseases on the other side of the world as a doctor, helping with that there, and she's back for Christmas in England, not the United States, in England, and so she has to be on a 7-day quarantine. So it's her younger sister, and her mom and dad are all locked in this house for 7 days. So should be interesting. But anyways, that's my wrap up. Thank you again for watching my Buzzwordathon vlog. See you next time. Bye.